How does this compare to any other three-day event you've ever been to?
I mean, this is more intense than those.
Right.
There's so much information in this.
Any big takeaways?
Definitely some takeaways. I'm anxious to sit with Jay and truly figure out how we're going to work this.
How about what you learned here, just business-wise, compared to any other training you've ever had? Just basic business life stuff here.
I think that there's a lot of the things in it that are comparable to a lot of sales things that I've been through.
Right.
In terms of the pain and finding the pain and then presenting solutions to the pain.
Right.
And extracting yourself from your day-to-day business model and looking at it from what I call the 30,000 foot level, and being able to inject into that, not where you are today, but what you see and what you hear from your clients in terms of their needs and how you best address those pains and hopefully give them solutions.
Right.
My thought coming into this, having read the line on your website about, I think it was $3 billion worth of contracts were not awarded because nobody bid them.
Right.
My comment to Jay at that point was, imagine if we bid and got 1% of those jobs.
Right.
1% would be more revenue than the company's ever experienced before.
In your mind at this stage, for somebody like Jay, that may have heard about it, looked into it a little bit, if you just looked in the camera there and told somebody that was on the fence, what would you tell them about this workshop and whether or not they should come?
I would say that you should definitely come. 3 days is a big commitment, but at the same time, it's a tiny commitment for the potential that looms beyond it. This gets you out of your comfort zone, but at the same time, being out of your comfort zone requires you to really pay attention, and the opportunities are, I think the opportunities are endless.
Tell me about your background in construction.
Well, unlike you, my dad was in the construction business.
Right.
So I ended up starting out, I guess, when I was 14. And first summer he put me out on a job and did all the jobs that you go through thinking, I want to get an office job.
It's hard work, huh?
And of course I didn't qualify for that, so the next best option was the guys that were all driving around on the dozers and scrapers, and I thought, I want to do that. So I did. I spent a couple of years driving heavy equipment, and then worked for an excavating contractor for several years after college, and Federated department stores, building stores for them. Real estate developer, actually same company I worked for the kid I worked for later out in California and back in Virginia.
Right.
And then after a stint with an environmental consulting firm, I ended up deciding to go into sales and started off selling insurance. And I kept ending up talking to people in the construction business because those were the ones I knew the best. So I looked for an agency that did mostly construction, and that's when I joined Bill Baldwin with where I've been ever since for 18 years. But I didn't know anything about bonds because everything I'd ever done before was all private work. We never bonded anybody, didn't have any need to. So I learned about the bond business from him and several other people that have been in the business for a long time and love it.
So tell me about your expectations coming into this.
Yes, I have a client who's been in it before. In fact, your first one
Yeah.
that you did. So,
That was Bob?
Yeah. So I knew a little bit about it, but we never really talked about it in detail. What I didn't expect that was a pleasant surprise was the life lessons part of it, particularly the first day, and a lot of the sales related things, which are reminders for stuff. We're all in sales no matter what we do.
Right.
But just reminders about that, and just all of those different ways of handling business, and then on top of it, learning more about what the federal jobs are like, because I've never done federal work before.
Right.
So that was a huge lesson in what kind of work is out there to be done that I didn't know about.
Well, some people struggle with either the investment or just taking 3 days out, or whether or not they can really learn something here. From your many years of experience in construction, 18 years is selling to contractors the insurance and the bonding side. If you looked at the camera and was talking to somebody that was borderline, should they come to here or not, what would you tell them?
Come here. And that's blunt, but that's exactly what you need to do. If you have any intention of doing federal work and you haven't done it before, then now that I know even more than I did before about what Doug can do, if you're not listening to him, well, that's fine. I'm sure my clients, who I hope will get a chance to enjoy listening to you at some point, will be competing with you, and I wish you luck.
That's one way of looking at it.
Well said.
Well, because I want them to be lucky, so I get to write a bond. I mean,
That's
this is all
right.
selfish.
Okay.
It's all a big circle, not selfish. it's all
By
a
the
big
way, you have to
circle.
understand that Mike's trying to sell you payment performance bonds, right? And,
Yeah,
and he
sure.
knows he's gonna sell a lot more of them to you if you come to this class,
There you
right?
go.
Absolutely, yes.
So Bob left the class, he started doing government contracts, right?
Yes, they've done several. Like everybody has to pursue work in the types of work that they're familiar with, doing some work with teaming with other contractors, and they have we've done a lot of federal work in the last 2 years.
Good, that's been good for you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
They're all bonded.
Well, what would you expect, because you were gonna go back and recommend this to a couple of your contractors, right?
Mhm.
Tell me what you're gonna tell them.
I'm going to talk to them about what their interests are in doing federal work, and then help them decide whether you will let them or not. After listening to you for the last couple of days about your selective choice of who you want in your group of 50,
Right?
I have some that I think might qualify, and I'll be glad to help them explain that to you if we need to. But
Okay.
I think we'll probably have to put together an RFP to present to you so we can see if we meet the qualifications.
Meets the qualifications, yeah.
Yeah, they will be bonded, if
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah, that's important,
Yes,
that helps.
It can be.
Okay, I mean, our whole deal is we want our people to get federal contracts, a lot of them, make a lot of money. That's the bottom line, is that how can we increase their productivity?